I've already begun.
Well, what's in that cup there?
Rum punch.
Rum punch. All right. You mind if I mix it with some ginger beer? Want to top it off, or you want to finish that first?
You can put some ginger. I mean, yes.
Now
whatever.
All right, John Browning, while you finish that,
Yes.
dump it down. There you go. Let's.
You can put some ice in it. You put ginger beer in it.
I'm going to refill. It's all the same.
The rum is more important than the beer anyway.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that one. And I did sanitize my hands, so not to worry. Let's get that out of the way. So, John Browning.
You have to show the label.
Yeah, the reason you're here is because whether you like it or not, you are the GOAT.
I am. Well, no, I'm old. I'm an old goat.
That's not what I've been told.
It's a lot of years.
But we say GOAT, the Mackinac race guys, or Mackinac, sorry.
Oh, right.
They've got their
whole
GOAT thing, right? Yeah, you got to do this
Yeah,
so many
got-
the pins. So how many of these races have you done?
27.
Is that the greatest, or is that the most that anybody's ever done?
Nope, Jim Mertz has 30.
But he has passed.
He has sailed this last Bermuda race.
So you have the potential to someday surpass him.
Yes.
So you are the currently living GOAT
Right.
of the Bermuda race.
Right. One ahead of Richard Dumoulin,
Well,
who is.
let's get that.
I like the thought that he is second to a goat.
That makes him would that be a nanny goat?
Probably.
Oh yeah.
No, in fact, for the Jim Mertz, I know his daughter, Allegra Torrey. And she, 20 years ago, said, "John, you're going to break my old man's record." I said, "Oh, leggy. Never going to happen."
How many years? 20 years ago?
Yeah, 15, 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
wow. It's
I know.
the foresight.
No.
You know?
Well, I knew Jim Mertz when we used to do Larchmont Race Week. We stayed with the Mertzes in Rye.
Well, cheers to
Cheers.
27.
27. Here's to more.
Absolutely.
Let's not stop at
Absolutely.
27.
So what is the secret to your longevity? Is it in the cup?
That's it.
That helps.
I just come down for the rum. I don't really care about the sailing. The rum is really why I'm here.
Yeah.
It's my longevity.
In this race. Well, in a life.
Persistence. It's if it ain't broke, let's not try to fix it. And after 15 races, so you say, hey, let's just keep doing. I love this race.
What is it you
I
love
just
about it?
love it. I like being out in the ocean. It's the best ocean. I haven't done them all. I've never done the Sydney Hobart. I've done some Fastnets, done some transatlantics, but no, this is a great race. The Gulf Stream makes the whole thing just wonderful.
Of those 27 years, I guess for the history books and whatever else, how many of those have you ever done it on your own boat, or you always been?
No, I've always been on somebody else's boat.
Smart man, right?
Yes.
Smart. So you're not just the GOAT; you're the smartest man here.
It helps my checking account.
Yeah. And so the team there, you were with this year. Give us a rundown. Who was on the boat? And
Oh, we had
not everybody on the boat, but sort of the general gist of the program, I guess.
the program. It was the best story, better than the crew. Although we had a great crew, and was how we got to the starting line.
I heard there was a little bit of a challenge.
On Thursday, we were still on the hard in the shipyard.
The race started Friday.
Started Friday.
Yeah, that's not a big window.
No, it wasn't nice. The delivery captain was bringing her down the sound and heard a loud clunk, and the engine stopped. He put up a sail and sailed from about Old Saybrook, I think, all the way to Newport. Got into the harbor and got a tow over to the shipyard. The first motor Mac looked at her and said,
Toast.
Your sail drive is toast. Forget about it. And we said, well, what can we do? He said, well, if you get one, I'll replace it. The only sail drive in the United States was in Mississippi. There were 3 in Brussels or someplace. We didn't. Looking at it, we probably could have gotten it from Brussels faster than from Mississippi.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It got to the loading dock and no farther.
In
Although
Brussels.
Although I do believe it's now sitting in Newport waiting for us to come back for it. But the second motor Mac came along and he said, because we're now out of the water, and he said, I can spin the propeller. It's not mechanical.
It's not locked.
No, it's not totally broken. So he drained the oil out and he got about that much oil. And he said, this has not been maintained. You've not kept the oil level where it should be. So he filled it up with oil and said, you know, this is all I can do. It should work. We'll see. So we babied it out to the starting line, start the race, got down here, came in from St. David's, under power, no problem at all, which was better than 4 years ago when the engine crapped out halfway to Bermuda. We got down here and had to be towed into Hamilton.
That's never fun.
That's no fun.
But there was, I thought I heard there was a little bit more to the story. That is it true that this goes back to your streak? I suppose that there was a moment in time where you probably weren't going to do the race.
I was looking for another.
You put yourself up on the crew board.
Yep. Well, the skipper said, John, I don't think we're going. I don't want to kill your streak. Put your name up. If we do go and you've signed up with somebody else, I'll just go with 8 instead of 9.
Yeah.
He said, but your streak is important. I said, no, it's not. I said, if it happens, it happens. That's sailboat racing. I wouldn't cry if we hadn't gone. I would have been most disappointed because I like the idea of having my 27 in a row without having missed any.
Yeah. Gaps are terrible.
But it's sailing, and there's anything could come along. Half the crew could have had COVID, and we wouldn't have gone.
Right. So when you put your installment there on the crew board, did you say, John Browning, I've done the race 27 years, period?
Yeah. I'd like to keep the streak alive.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing, period. Yeah.
I can do just about anything.
Yeah.
I've done everything on the.
That's cool.
I've navigated, I've watch captained, I've cooked, I've gone double-handed, I've done it all.
You've done it all. How did this race compare to all the 26 that you've done before?
It's as nice a race as I've ever done. It's of the 27, I would say, yes, this is the nicest race. I mean, downwind the whole way, finishing under Spinnaker. I can't remember the last time we did that.
Did that dawn on you when you finished here? I mean, or do you feel like now that you sort of can think back on it that of how cool it was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's. I try to rank the race, although some of them were a long time ago, and I forget what they were like.
Yeah, it sort of fades into history, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the 1984 race was like.
Yeah. How about your most memorable along the way? Can you?
Oh,
pull a couple?
Oh.
Let's open the memory book here, quick. Yeah.
We can start with my first race. Came down on Ondine with Huey Long. First to finish. That was exciting.
Wow, first race, first to finish.
First race,
and how
first
old were
to
you
finish.
at that?
Let's see. I was 68. I was 21. Second race was with Jack Potter on his 57-foot equation, S&S equation. We were on the Admiral's Cup. We were on the Onion Patch team, and we were second overall. That was the year Karina won, and she beat us by going a little more west than we did. But that was a miserable race. It was because that was the year we went out around the Argus Tower, west end of. We rounded Bermuda. We left it to port, set a starboard, and then ran down the south shore. But it was hot and it was windy. And hot and windy is about the worst you can get because the boat is all closed up.
Yeah.
And you're sitting on deck and just dying in your foul weather gear because the big waves and everything was wet. Everything down below was wet.
Yeah, the boats were wetter back then, weren't they? Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I've gone to windward in this J122, and it's not a totally dry ride.
Yeah.
Let's see, what other races? 72. My first three races were pretty. 72 was the storm. Again, I came down with Jack Potter on his big equation. That was a 68-foot Britty Chance design. And it blew it. It was blowing. Puffs were well over 50 coming into the finish line. And all you had was a sextant and the RDF. And actually what happened to us is Jack didn't want to go all the way in to make sure it was North Rock. Our navigator said that it's North Rock, and so we went off away from the shore, and because it was so rainy and foggy, we just kind of hove to, and came in under the what was it called, an Omni. At the airport, they have that for the airplanes, the Omni system. And that worked fine, got us right in. Also got us thrown out of the race.
How so?
We used navigation.
Oh, right. Yep.
Navigation that wasn't allowed.
Wasn't allowed.
All you were allowed was the RDF and the and
Right.
sextants. And
Man, it's
Celestial.
amazing how things have changed, huh?
Oh God, it pretty much changed the next race, because a lot of people were upset with coming into that finish line and that southeaster and blowing, and middle of the night you couldn't see anything.
Yeah, yeah. Dangerous.
It was very dangerous.
Yeah.
And then what? Then we're 74. 74, I came down on Ondine. 80. The 80-foot Ondine. She was a catch.
I bet that was a fun ride.
That was a fun ride. We set the record.
Yeah.
Didn't stand for very long, but we did set the record.
What was the record back then on Undine?
It was under. I want to say it was 68 hours. Now, whether it was 68 and we beat it by 3, or whether it was 72 and we beat it by 3 to make it 68, I think we made it 6. I think we did it in 68 hours.
Yeah.
Simple race, southwester, started in the southwester, came all the way down, starboard tack. That was it.
Yeah. Straight shot, huh?
Straight shot.
Yeah.
So it was, I can't remember who beat us that year. It was, I don't remember.
How has the addition of the Gulfstream analysis and all this kind of techno mumbo jumbo in the beginning, how has it changed?
A whole different game.
Yeah.
Because you really, when I started, you didn't have any satellite images or whatever.
Guessing,
yeah, you'd hope that the ships that crossed it and sent in reports, they were kind of, somewhat accurate. But the standard thing was you aimed. Oh gosh, what was the Finisterre rule? 35 miles, 45 miles to the west of Rumline, and let the stream take you to the east and get out around Rumline, and then commence the end of the race. Race is made up in 3 parts: getting to the stream, getting through the stream, and then the post stream. That's one thing that makes this race so interesting.
I mean, how about for this time? Do you guys, applying now that knowledge that everybody has, how did the race go for you guys?
We were too slow getting to the stream. We set ourselves up a little bit too far to the west when we got to the stream. So we were trying to play catch up all the way down, which I think we did pretty well. We pushed her hard. It was there was some hard running. We blew out 2 chutes.
Oh, you blew 2. Wow.
I think everybody blew out chutes.
This was the sailmakers.
Absolute sailmakers' delight.
Sailmakers are riggers. They love this race.
I know. Well, normally you don't blow out a chute on the way to Bermuda.
Yeah.
So it's just a benefit for the summer for the sailmakers. They can spend all summer building A2s. A2 seemed to be the sail of choice.
Absolutely. It seemed to be the A2 shock load blowout factor. Yeah.
Ours was the A4 shock load blowout.
All right. So
tell
us about that.
We were going down windows. I was off watch, so I can't tell you everything.
Yeah.
But I know we were going downwind.
Middle of the night?
No. Middle of the afternoon. Solid 25 puffs in the high 20s. With the A4 up, which was a really nice, strong chute, beautiful chute. I used the past tense. So apparently the wind built to 32, and then the next puff was 38. And
wow!
It just disintegrated. It wasn't a roundup. We didn't wrap it. We didn't do anything stupid, but we just blew it out.
Seems can handle
it. Just didn't want to live anymore.
Was that a new spinnaker or slightly
relatively new?
Yeah.
Relatively.
Poof, gone.
Just gone.
And then what followed that?
The A5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We kept that up for a while, and then we decided that wasn't working, so we went back down to the A3, and then the wind got back down in the 20s. We used the A2 all the way to the finish.
Yeah.
Which was fun.
There seemed to be a theme this time about sort of people preserving their A2s.
Tried to,
and go
yeah.
into the jib tops
Yep.
earlier than you might otherwise.
Yeah, we pushed it. We knew we were behind going into the stream, and we had to try to catch up, and it just didn't work as well as we might have planned.
Have you started a book yet, or what's the?
If I started a book,
Yeah, I mean, come on.
surely you jest. lot of things I may do, but
Chapter 27.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
People tell me I should write a book, but that takes a certain amount of ambition. And I certainly lack that.
Well, don't underrate it. I think there's a lot to be said about,
Well,
again, recording history and
the
the
way
lessons
that
learned.
Clint Eastwood said in Dirty Harry, man has to know his limitations. I'm well aware of my limitations. In case I forget that, I have a lot of friends who will remind me what my limitations are.
Well, that could bring me to my final question, I guess, in terms of limitations. What does this thing about mopeds in you?
No, nothing about mopeds in me. I've only had one crash in a moped ever, and it wasn't bad. Especially Lee saying that.
Your friends are always trying to throw you under the bus, right?
His wife ran into all kinds of things. Oleander wouldn't rent her a bike after she wrecked the second one. She was down here with my wife Stephanie, and they were riding around. She wrecked one bike, and then she wrecked the next bike. Finally, she had to ride behind Steph the 2 days before we got down here. I don't remember what race it was, but it was a slow race.
Well, as I think somebody else said, I mean, it's the responsibility of the skipper to get the crew here. But once they're here and they unleash them onto the mopeds, then it's like, oh man, So yeah.
I've been getting mopeds. I remember the old pedal assisted.
Oh yeah. Motorbicon.
The Motorbicons, yes. Helping myself pedal up the hills.
So as a 27 timer here getting to the island, what is the best thing that you can do when you get here?
I mean, outside of having a dark and stormy and saying
Once
nice things about Gosling rum, that's.
I hear they have a secret stash somewhere on the island.
Well, you get here, so you have your rum, and the second thing you probably want is the shower.
Good fresh shower.
That's a good shower.
And a meal, of course.
Yeah, meal isn't so important if you've had a couple of dark and stormies. The shower is always important.
Sort of like dark and stormy, shower, sleep.
Yeah.
In that order.
Yes, don't try to confuse them. If you fall asleep in the shower, it's not only, it's mostly bad form.
Yeah. And somebody else is waiting for it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate you sharing
Dave,
your
thank
stories.
you.
And cheers to 20.
Thank
cheers
you for
to
the rum.
27. My pleasure. Thank you for.
I'll see you here in 2 years.
What's your next ride?
What? Next race?
Your next ride? What's? Are you? I mean, do people? Are you?
Do I have an entourage of people looking for my services?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't want to bring the goat?
I mean, who knows? Talking about that last night at the Storm Tristle party. Oh, Browning, who are you going to go with next? I have no idea.
You could have the pick of the fleet. You could have the pick of the fleet.
Pick of the fleet, right?
I think
some of those big foiling boats. I don't know.
Yeah.
My maxi days are in my wake.
How about the Argo? I mean, that could really sort of like take that streak to another level. Get here in 24 hours.
Well, they said I shouldn't swear at this interview, so it would scare the out of me.
Scare the bejesus out of you.
Yeah, my bejeebies would be.
All right, well, cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Very much.
And we'll see you next time, I guess.
Take care.